Hello, folks. We're back for the second segment. I'm Harold. This is Trey. You can catch us on ibtv.us. You can get Roku and YouTube. Call us. Let us know what you like. We'll get right back at it here with the draft. Let's go through the first 10. Number one choices on the first 10.
Yeah, so the number one choice was Baker Mayfield, Cleveland. Okay. Number 2 was Saquon Barkley to the New York Giants, which was a great pick, folks. They're going to be making a run in the NFC East. Number 3 was the New York Jets, Sam Darnold, which we talked about. Number 4 was Denzel Ward. I don't know what to say about that pick from Cleveland. Denver picked up Bradley Chubb, the best edge rusher in the draft. Then after that, we didn't say, but Indianapolis had the 6th pick, Quentin Nelson. What do you think about that pick?
Oh, if you couldn't, he's going to be a Pro Bowler for years to come. You take him, which is a great pick, and then you go back to the Broncos' number 1 pick, which arguably they say he was the best player in the whole draft, and you get him at number 5, just a great one. And then at number 6 with you're not going to find an offensive lineman in years.
And then
7.
So 7's the Buffalo. They got Josh Allen. What do you think about Josh Allen?
Another, as far as I'm concerned, project. You're not going to be able to throw him in there right away.
Right.
And then we come out the morning of the draft with these racially insensitive slurs that he makes on the tweet.
Right.
And then backs up and starts trying to say that he really didn't make the tweet, that someone might have had his phone and didn't know that didn't. So you didn't really own up and take full responsibility at the beginning of it.
Right.
As several of the black commentators that they talked to, they said he has some splaining to do.
And 80%, he's going into a locker room that's 80% black. That's not my biggest issue. My biggest issue, he was in the Mountain West, folks, lower level competition as far as the Power 5 conferences, and was not dominant. He was very inaccurate.
Yeah, but I still think he was probably the dominant quarterback, Trey. And as far as the level of competition, and this just goes for folks with people, I just look at people like Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
They said the same rap on him, coming from the MAC.
Right.
Turns out to be great. Right. It's just the quarterback position is really different.
Right.
You take, he's arguably the greatest quarterback ever. The Patriots.
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady's taken in the 6th round, 100-something. I mean, the quarterback position, that's different, but let's go on to the next pick clip after him.
So number 8, Chicago, Raekwon Smith from Georgia.
Great.
From the linebacker. We talked about it during the draft. The Chicago Bears always do better when they have a big, bad linebacker. So they're going back to their roots.
Some teams built when they have a great quarterback. Some teams built when they have a great defensive end. Historically, the Chicago Bears play well and go to playoffs when they have a dominant middle linebacker. And that's what this kid is. This is a great one.
Okay.
Number 9.
Number 9, San Francisco, Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle for Notre Dame. Great pick. You got a new quarterback. Yep. Great pick. Then number 10, Arizona took Josh Rosen. And he had some interesting things to say after he was drafted.
Yeah.
I can't tell if I like that. I like the fire. If I kind of take it as kind of disrespect almost.
I think when you talk about arrogance, that the height of arrogance for him, I'm pissed off that really?
Right.
You're number 10 in the draft and you're pissed off? But that goes back for me, folks. I don't believe that any of the quarterbacks were worth spending those high draft choices for. I still believe in the end, the one that's going to work out the best is Lamar Jackson. But Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen,
and Josh
Rosen, all 3 of them, character problems. The things that they've said and the things that they've done, there are some character problems there. Then you have, if they don't mess it up, but then the only problem I have with Darnold, some bad decisions, and he is really young.
Yeah.
And to come out at 20 years old and be the quarterback, I give you the keys to a Maserati. I don't know if that's going to work out. But
another head scratcher too. Just real quick, guys. The Saints actually moved up in the draft, gave away their 1st round pick For Marcus Davenport, University of San Antonio.
That was a head second to the buffoon moves of Cleveland. I could not believe that.
Yeah.
That they would have changed positions and maybe gave a second, a two. But to give away your switch positions and give in 19 your number 1 round draft choice for a kid that, and this is for a kid that's played at that level and would have been there later on.
Would have been there. Was dominant against lesser competition at that level.
Yes.
Once he stepped up, was played very disinterested, low motor kid, kind of lazy.
Yeah, just a workout warrior, as they said. Impressed everyone at the combine so much, but still you got to be able to play football. One of my favorite picks, man, was the New York Jets, who I think had a pretty good draft. New York Jets took the kid from Fort Hays State in Fort Hays, Kansas. Division II, great kid. That's a beautiful story. I forget his name.
Nathan Shepard.
Nathan
D
Shepard.
tackle from Canada. Very raw, but high motor, high character. He's got all the tools.
Right, and 5-year kid, so he's mature. He's not one of the young ones coming out. We also had, for the first time ever, 2 brothers taken in the first round.
Right,
the kids from Virginia Tech.
Right, Tremaine Edmonds and the other Edmonds brother, and they're great. Those are great.
And now the real story with the Evans brothers is this is the first time that a teenager has been drafted.
Right, he was 19.
He's 19 years old.
Yeah.
Now he'll turn 20, but he's 19 years old right now. Right. And those things even as great as he is, those things concern me.
Yeah. It matters. It all matters.
Because they're so young. If they don't have a support group around him that will take care of him. Where did he go?
Virginia Tech. He went Virginia Tech, and I think he was 19. I'm not sure who he was picked up by, though.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. But he's 19 years old, folks. The kid who was the youngest in the NFL last year is the wide receiver with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. Juju
from Southern Cal, USC, and struggled a little bit at first. Not physically, but it's hard to be around. To be a professional, you're 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, and you're going to be held accountable and expected to perform with grown men. So,
the Edmonds, Tremaine was actually picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay,
19. Kind of following that lead, and then Terrell was picked by the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. Well, now you have to think, if you were going to be 19, 20 years old, the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a great place to go.
Oh yeah,
because they have people. Definitely, your head coach is going to be a father figure for you, and be able to step in and take care of you. Pittsburgh had a great draft.
They always do. They always draft well.
And they took a quarterback that really resembles Ben Roethlisberger,
right?
The kid from Oklahoma State,
right? Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph.
He'll be able to sit and learn,
and he'll be able to sit because Big Ben's going to play for about 2 more years, and he's the same size, same kind of quarterback that he is.
Biggest winner in the draft before we close out.
The biggest winner?
Who was the biggest winner to you?
Man, it's going to get hard to be better than the first 2 picks that the New York Giants took.
Yeah.
They get Saquon Barkley, another one between him and Bradley Chubb, who you talked to, the best player in the draft beyond being the best running back.
Right.
And then they take Hernandez from University of Texas El Paso, biggest, meanest offensive lineman in the draft. So you got 2 people immediately to help quarterback situation. He's going to be protected. Just on local note, this is the best draft the Broncos have had in a long time.
And I think they're the biggest winners of the draft.
You think so?
I think so. I think that they're right back where they need to be. You look at the Saints hitting on all those players last year and where it took them to.
Yes.
One draft, folks, can turn your franchise right around. If you get 4 impact players, that can change everything. And I think the Broncos did that.
And don't forget the feel-good story for the Broncos. They signed Philip Lindsay.
They signed Philip Lindsay from CU, who was a early on, not Maxwell, but the
Heisman hopeful.
Yeah, was an early on Heisman hopeful, and he's going to make the team. But folks, we got to round that out. If you have any questions for us, hit us up on YouTube, comment, subscribe, like what we got going on, and we'll be